Hello, and welcome to today's session, Education, B Corps, and Impact. This event is part of the Global Education Forum, as you know, starting this week, the day after tomorrow, actually. It's from October the 13th to 15th. And as you know, we will discuss on the future of higher education institutions with more than 100 speakers from all over the world. And this is the last of the series of previous events that we are conducting to frame the main topics that we will develop during those days. Today, we are honored to have two amazing speakers, the best possible, I think, to talk about today's topic. One of them is Daniel Turan. He's currently the B Corp ambassador in Europe and general director at EBBF, Ethical Business Building the Future. That is correct. And for decades, he has been creating communities around impact innovation with a passion for education. So thanks, Daniel. And also, we will be honored to have you as keynote speaker during the Global Education Forum. So double thanks for your engagement with us. And we also have Alejandro Delso. He's project manager at Institución Educativa SEC. He was graduated at in the School of Management at Syracuse University, and he holds a master's degree in international management. And he was the person leading the certification process that brought this institution, Institución Educativa SEC and Universidad Camilo José Cela, as part of the B Corp movement. So welcome, Alejandro, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you very much, David. Very happy to be here and to be a part of this micro event before the Global Education Forum kicks off in less than 48 hours.
Correct. Thank you. And well, my name is David Martín Díaz. I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship, Skills and Social Commitment at Universidad Camilo José Cela. And my role is to facilitate this conversation. It will be around 30 minutes. This session is being recorded. It's important to say this, no? So we can share it later on with more people, no? Through the website and social media. And don't forget, by the way, to check it out because we will have amazing content on the website. And actually, we have amazing sessions already there. So let's start by asking Daniel. Daniel, can you tell us what is B Corp, no? As general question.
Excellent question. So El Economista, back a few months ago, wrote B Corp is the most prestigious global standard that recognizes purpose-driven companies. So that's a pretty good introduction. And indeed, it is one of the most used ways in which just a handful, or just a few thousand companies around the world have achieved this status. But more than a status, more than a logo and something to be proud of, it's really a mindset. It's a mindset of companies that go from the storytelling to the story doing. There's a proof of concept there. There's a verification of what you're doing. It goes deep into your business model and really measures how much you are contributing to society. I think there's this common understanding that there's a new capitalism that's emerging, no? That the shareholder primacy is no longer the focus, should not be the focus of most companies. They should be looking towards this kind of the stakeholder primacy, no? This new way of satisfying, of course, the shareholders, but also people, planet, and all the other entities that are part of the company. And B Corps really do this very well and are measured because of their contribution to society, to the environment, and especially to their people, to providers. So there's a really elevated way of doing business that defines what a B Corp is.
Thank you. I love that, no? From storytelling to story doing, you said. I think it's very powerful, no? And also the idea of including the planet as stakeholders, no? That is sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes we forget that important tip. Alejandro, you represent Institución Educativa SEC, and this is the first and the only educational entity that became B Corp in Spain, if I'm not wrong. Could you talk a bit about the company you represent and why did you decide to be part of the B movement?
Well, of course, thank you for that question, David. Actually, well, we are the SEC education group, Institución Educativa SEC, which holds all the SEC international schools around Europe and the Middle East. and as well as the UCJC, Universidad Camilo José Cela, and Caterges, which is our services company that takes care of us every day. So the reason we decided to join the B Corp movement, we had been partnering, getting to know about it for many years now. We met Daniel many years ago, my parents, then I met in a couple of events, and we decided to join this movement because at SEC we understood that this was we wanted to teach, or to teach by example, to lead by example, and we had seen that our community, our students, our faculty, especially the younger generation, have this impact or this need, this search for like Daniel was saying, to help the communities, to help the planet, to be responsible in the way we treat our surroundings. And that was very important for us. And we saw that at SEC Education Group, we did many of those things. We actually were very proud that as we took part in certification, I can speak about it later, we saw that we were doing many things properly, and was also a way to understand ourselves better and to understand how we did things in the company. And that was one of the reasons we thought, okay, let's try and join the movement. It was truly an adventure. It was a difficult task, but certifying ourselves as B Corp was a way of saying, look, we're here, we do this, and we truly believe in this movement as a way of not teaching the best students in the world, but the best students for the world. And that's a motto we live by ever since, and that we had always done in the past, and that we want to continue doing as we keep on becoming a part of this B movement and this B community.
I like that, Alejandro. Not the best students of the world, no, the best students for the world. And what does it take to get certified? How was the process to get certified?
Well, it was an interesting process. We had attended many events. We had met with Daniel. We had met with the B Lab in Spain, B Lab Europe, and we had heard about it. And there were a few companies, like Daniel was saying before. There are at least 1,000 or so companies that are certified, which is a very demanding process, because only the year we certified, there were over 3,000 companies trying to certify, and roughly a couple hundred of those made it and achieved the final goal, which is to get past all those grading systems and internal reviews. So for us, the first step was to get to know ourselves better. What we call the B impact assessment, which is how do we do things in SEC. I think Daniel can correct me as we speak about this. I think for me, it's like going back into it was actually, I was leading the certification for SEC, and it was 3 years ago. It was my first big project at the company. I started working recently, and it was a very demanding adventure. And I would say we first got to know each other. We got to know SEC ourselves better. We had also, well, it's one thing about me, I was a student in SEC all my life. I grew up in SEC, and now being able to see it from the other side of the company was truly outstanding. And to be able to see that and to see, okay, this is how we do things. We are aiming towards a B Corp certification. These are the requirements, or also like the standards to become B Corp certified. And we took a B impact assessment that was basic, just to sort of see ourselves and answer questions and research a little bit about one of our schools only. That's a sort of as a standard for the rest of the schools. Then we had to, from there we said, okay, we want to certify the group as a whole. So we had to go through all the schools, the university, and Caterges, which were 3 different exams of our 3 different areas of impact. And from there, we started doing all the in-depth insider research of ourselves. And that was really what led us to see how there were things we did very well. It wasn't like self-assessment. So we did things very well, and we took them for granted. And we saw other companies didn't do it. And that was also very powerful as the B impact movement. And we also saw there was something that we had to improve. There were some processes within the company that we had to improve. And that was also very good, because ever since we found out those sort of self-assessment topics, we kept on growing from there. So those were it was really a research and back and forth communications with B Corp in Spain, in Europe, and our certification team was taking place in America at the time. It was 2 years ago. So a year and a half ago. So all those connections and all those documents and all those conversations also, because we also spoke with some B Corps in the process with Spanish B Corps and international B Corps, and how they did it and how they're part of the B community, and getting to know that really set us straight to get it in the end.
Thank you,
And I
Alejandro,
think
for sharing.
Daniel can agree. Now that Daniel is here, now that he's not listening to us, I can say Daniel was a great asset in helping us, and he was a great partner on this journey of becoming B certified. We had many conversations on this journey, and we're very happy to have him as part of the process, and to get to know him better, and to be able to continue this collaboration further with SEC and with B Corp and with Daniel as an individual.
Daniel, how is the
the B people, no? The relationship with the B people? I think that's very important. You're mentioning names of people as opposed to institutions.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm seeing in the B Corp movement. It's people that are really using business as a force for good. And the relationship between these human beings create very virtuous relationship also in the academic world.
Yeah, correct. How is the B movement and education related, Daniel? I mean, what do we need to learn in order to succeed as a person or as a company in the current socio-economical context?
Yeah, I think there's two elements. So to become a B Corp, you need to change your statutes, so really be mission driven 100%. So it's a big commitment. And you need to sign a letter of interdependence. And I think this concept of interdependence and this letter that each B Corp signs is very related to the education system, what we should be promoting in the educational institutions, what students are looking for now. This interdependence means that your actions have effect on others and others have effect on you. So the fact that all the B Corps are interdependent to each other, to the society where they live, to the planet, this awareness of your role in society, I think that's really fundamental in terms of at least what I did, what many of us teach in different business schools and universities, this sense of responsibility and also this activism, because many B Corps go well beyond their business model and activate the society around them. And I think these two elements are very useful in an education system that with students that are more and more asking very deep questions or deeper questions and will only join companies that are purpose driven. What does it mean? How do you actually put purpose into action? And the answer to these questions, well studied, examined with case studies, with examples, with real life situations, that's what I think both professors are using a lot and students are looking forward to as well.
Okay, so interdependence, responsibility, engagement or activation of students, those are like key elements for education in related to the B movement. What are your thoughts on this, Alejandro? Anything to add from your perspective?
I was about to comment. Thank you, David. I was about to.
Go ahead.
Right?
Yep.
No. Yeah, sorry, this happens every now and then.
No problem, we hear you.
Perfect. So along those lines, Daniel was saying, we saw the need in education to teach, for teaching based on values or for concepts, to include it within our core curriculum, to be a part of our daily operations, of our daily classroom lectures, of our daily activities within an educational community. We saw it is important, which is why, well, we are at the moment the only education group that's B Corp certified. However, in Europe, sorry. In Europe. However, I think it's very important. There's other groups outside of Europe, and there is starting to be an awareness and a feel of this sense of students and faculty demand these new inputs and this new adaptation to teach based on values and to learn on how our surroundings and how we live in a global world and how we have to be sustainable and how there is a need to help the planet, to help others, and to include this within our core curriculum at SEC and at the UCJC. It was truly powerful for us, and I agree with what Daniel said, that more and more education is starting to aim and to go towards our way, and that's mainly because the younger generations have a view. From our personal experience, most of the things we did, we took pride that it was our community, educational community, that led many of the things. We had our students being a part of those movements and leading and challenging us to do certain things that I think that's very important. So that's something also we learned, and that is what was our goal, to put the student at the center of the experience and to include this in the experience that B Corp is part of what we want to teach, and we want to lead and to teach by example.
And how, this is a question for both of you, how is this translated into reality on a daily basis? I mean, could you provide some examples of training programs or academical programs supported by B Corp, for example?
Daniel smiled, so please.
I have a very good example, which I hope we're going to make live at SEC itself, is this new master that we want to launch, powered by B-Lab Spain. And I say this because around the world, these are the most sought after masters, both for professors who are looking for, this economic system, this capitalist system is not quite working. So what's the alternative? What will work? What are not just the trends, but also what are the examples of these things working? What are the kind of new leadership that is coming out? And students are begging for it. So wherever we give courses are different right now, university masters, both in Spain and in Europe, around the world, you can see there's a real thirst. And I guess it's something to do with hope. So I feel that we have kind of a bit of lost hope for the future. And then within the B Corp movement, you see all these companies that really have hope, who live hope, who give hope. And that is so attractive because it's not just a nice idealist concept, but that hope translates into profits as well. So you see these really motivated teams, these really new business model aimed at balancing, so difficult, the shareholder and the other stakeholders. You see the way people are motivated, how much more they work, they give, the profits at the end being higher. And then you say, hey, maybe there's something there. And it just becomes so interesting to study that. So this is just one example that I hope we can soon announce within the walls here. But I think also the experiential essence of SEC is really part of this. So it's not about theoretical study. I think that's a really important approach of you as a B Corp, that you really have this students experience things. Yeah, they're connected to society, they do projects, they do movies, they do sports, which do not separate from the needs of society. So you're actually building a mindset in students to be connected with the society. And I think this is how you live the concept of being a B Corp. Beyond Spain and Europe, there's courses at Harvard on B Corp, there's courses at Stanford. So it's really now very much a sought after theme, because it seems like a viable, working, successful alternative to the old purpose-less business model. And last but not least, whilst up to a few years ago, companies were saying, purpose, yeah, that would be nice, maybe we can talk about it later, but now let's talk about serious stuff. Now the question is how. Not why, but how. And so educational institutions that are able to actually create leaders that know how to make this transition are very powerful in the business world. They're very sought after and will be creating some of the best companies, as you said before, for the world.
So yeah, I agree with that. Sorry to interrupt, David, but I'm really happy that Dan is bringing this sort of the concept of people. For us, we've been very, very happy to sort of lead this people movement, to be a part of a movement shared with people, and with internally, like you were saying, what are some examples of how we lead the B Corp movement and what we do being a B Corp certified, and we have examples from internally within SEC and the UCJC. We had a student, we had an app to help. We had an app that's called App No More, that was from our startup accelerator, that had a focus on helping women that were alone, walking alone home in dangerous cities, to sort of search a cry for help and to have it connected with the local authorities and to have a sort of sense of protection for women and well, for individuals. But it was a group of girls that launched it because they saw a need in the most difficult or the most dangerous areas of the world, and that was a very powerful thing, and it was a global thing. So that was a very cool thing that happened in SEC. We also had in the university at the UCJC, we had two big movements since we became B Corp. Two of them happened during the pandemic. One of them was our students that had to stay confined in our residence halls in the university, took charge and developed sanitary materials for the local authorities in the surroundings when there were no masks, there were no health protections, there was nothing, with our 3D printers, that they took one step forward and said, look, we want to do this and we want to help those that need it the most now. And we also had a lot of our medical, a lot of our sanitary and from our faculty of health, our nurse degree, our nursing degree, took charge and became volunteer in the most needed places during the toughest part of the pandemic. And also during COVID, there was this app created by students that for people that needed things, it was just a connection of establishments that were open and that could provide those things to people that needed necessary things. So that connection was also very, very good. And I think it's also one of the activities that took part within SEC and that we're very proud of. And Daniel was saying about people and connecting people. We're very happy that this summer in our tall ship, the Goleta Cervantes Saavedra, we had a B2B collaboration, so B Corp to B Corp collaboration with Olivia Nandel, she's the son of Delicious and Sons founder, who is a B Corp too, and she's an advocate and a huge member of the B Corp community. And she's 14, 15 years old. So Olivia is actually one of the role models we see within the younger generations that have this passion and this sort of sense of commitment with their surroundings. And so the goal was Olivia has been working towards preserving marine wildlife and preserving oceans and eliminating waste and plastic from the ocean. And through the tall ship, we had our students involved in collecting during the summer programs, the summer SEC that took part this summer in La Goleta. Olivia joined us for one of the sailings for a full week, and she taught our students to create their own jelly cleaners, which are created from scratch and from plastic and from daily things we have within our home, and to put them in different activities that took place in the water. And those jelly cleaners collected plastic and waste from the ocean, and we helped recycle those, bring them back to the necessary recycling services and processes, and to also teach our students about the need to preserve and to be conscious about the importance of water, of circular economy. Most of those plastics were recycled and converted into new bottles or new fabrics or new things. So this sense of circular economy was very important. So we had examples. We've only been a B Corp for a year and a half, and we have examples of activities and projects within our community that were already led by our students and by our staff. And now we have examples of collaboration with big companies, because we're also here as part of the big movement. We're here to learn and to make the most out of the experience and to be also of help. We're an educational community. We're an education group to be able to learn and to help and to be a part as much as we can.
It's great. Thank you both, because you provided examples of academical programs and also other projects created by the community, students, staff, teachers working together to solve problems, and bringing into light those key ideas that Daniel was mentioning before, interdependence, responsibility, commitment. And what about research? I was thinking, what kind of research is being produced around these topics, around the B Corp movement, and what opportunities maybe the topics are that we are not researching enough, any deep and in niche for new researchers.
Yeah, this is really exciting. So recently we organized an event, B-Lab Spain, here in Spain, with B Academics, which is a group of academics from around the world. And I was amazed by how many cases already exist, how much research has been done on the business model of B Corps, on the impact they have, on the way they measure their impact, on the branding, on the communication, on the activism. There are so many case studies of these amazing companies and organizations, which very often do not feel they are amazing. They're just doing what they think is right, but it's just so innovative compared to everything else. It becomes a really interesting case to study. And you asked about new opportunities for research. I mean, there's companies like, I would love SEC to receive a case study about how it works and goes forward. But for example, Chiesi, right? Chiesi is this huge European pharmaceutical company. The way they transferred their being a B Corp to all their staff, and how this has totally changed the way in which their staff now interacts with their providers, with the community, the way they do take decisions, mind-blowing. So just to see how do you then relate the fact, we're a B Corp and therefore to the whole staff and activating the whole staff in this way. And you should see the results as well, which are amazing. Another example is LTM Hotels. It's a chain of hotels. And just say one thing, which is amazing. They have weekly 15 minutes meetings where they decide the whole strategy for the week in 15 minutes. Now, what is amazing is not that they do it in 15 minutes, is how do they prepare everybody in their team to be that effective in 15 minutes. So all the values of trust, of responsibility, of understanding the purpose, of being aligned, of unity, because creating a decision-making meeting of 15 minutes every week is just mind-blowingly the clearest example to me about how this approach of interaction, of respect, of understanding your stakeholders can really have amazing effects. So this, to me, we already have a lot of research. I would love a lot more research on what works and what doesn't work in the B Corp community. I always say the B Corp community is made of B, in Spain we say B de buena, so B for good, not P for perfect. So I can safely say no B Corp is in any way perfect, but they're really going forward in a very special, good way. And analyzing that, studying that, researching that, I think is a fascinating topic that I know a lot of students do in their end of master's or end of university degrees. And I hope more and more academics can actually join in for.
Yes, I completely agree, Daniel, here. There is a need for more investigation and more academic work on B Corps and the impact they have, their power and their way of doing things. And there's also like the benefit, like you were saying, some companies that have changed their model and that have moved towards the shareholder capitalism, to the stakeholder perspective, have really changed their way to do things and have really created a new sense of value and a new area of value. So I think that's very important. We at SEC, we are part of the B Academics. We are part of the board, which is we are in contact action and in contact touch with all the activities happening. And like Daniel's saying, we were surprised to see how much activity, how much academic activity was taking place from masters, from classes, from lectures to investigation, which we think is also very powerful. At SEC, we're currently working to hopefully launch within the next couple of months a short for accreditation or a short course powered by B Academics for our community of teachers in the university to understand and to see what B Corp is for some of them that are not in the daily activities of B Corp, or that do not want, or that have not been able to connect as much as they wanted. And here we're looking to search for talent, for teachers that say, okay, I really believe in this. I think this is very important. I think there is a need for that. And to have both, to have our teachers implementing these kind of values and this kind of teachings from B Corp and this kind of movement within their daily classes or within their daily contents and within their lectures, and also to find way or to search for room to investigate. We have seen there is already research. We're helping currently with research at B Academics launch through one of the members that was leading a doctoral thesis for a member of the university, and we were very happy to help with that and to give our learnings as being B Corp certified. And now we want to do that ourselves. We want to again teach by example, and we need to be in the right place at the right time. So we are in a moment where I think it's very important to investigate and to learn more about B Corps and to put that extra effort. So we're working towards, after having this kind of basic learnings and basic teaching on B Corps and basic course, to hopefully having our own staff leading the change and being our community, that we're not launching that and saying we have to do this, but we're offering this as an opportunity and see who joins within our students and our teachers and says, I want to have B Corp as part of my final year program at my undergraduate, at my master's, to do a doctoral thesis on it, or just having our teachers investigating B Corp topics. That will be very powerful and very good to keep on this certification and this work we're doing with the B movement.
Thank you, Alejandro. I was thinking maybe there are people interested right now listening to us and wondering, can can I join? No, what do they have to do? What is the process? Or maybe I would start with a broader question, maybe for Daniel. No, how does B Corp encourage other educational companies in Europe to get this certification?
So B Corps are the companies that achieve their status and proudly say I'm a B Corp, after going through auditing and research and everything else. And B Lab is the foundation, that the nonprofit foundation that accompanies the B Corps and accompanies the movement and audits and everything else. And what we do is do not encourage. So right now the pipeline is huge, but what we do encourage very, very strongly is for every possible company to use this B Impact Assessment. So the B Impact Assessment is a tool, is a free tool that you can also use to become a B Corp, but you don't have to be. It's free, it's online, it's private, it's confidential. And it, just like Alejandro was saying before, it just gives you a photograph of where you stand. It highlights what you may be doing a few more things. It's got this beautiful gamification about it. Oh, if I do this more thing, I get 2 extra points. So you're encouraged to get more points and therefore measure how much your impact is. But each point is positive impact. So that's the beauty of this system. It just measures, helps you to improve, and gives you the incentive to improve. For example, I was in a panel the other day with Sacha Michaud, is the co-CEO of Glovo, and he was saying we're using the B Impact Assessment not to become a B Corp, but to actually, he wants an excuse to do more sustainability. So he uses the B Impact Assessment internally as a way to push forward his company to be better than it is at the moment, which obviously probably needs, I don't know, but it's there's a very interesting perspective. So the tool itself, forget certification, the tool itself is such a powerful tool to actually go and move forward. So the short answer is we do not encourage people to become B Corps, we encourage people to be like a B Corp.
Thank you. Where they can find this assessment or this form?
I guess the link will be shared in the chat or wherever. It's bimpactassessment.net, and if you want in Spanish, it's /es. So bimpactassessment.net/es if it's in Spanish, or just without anything in English or Italian. There's different versions for different people. And it's really also for students. You know, if you're a startup, you would like to set up your company in a positive way, go there, look at the 250 odd questions. Basically, depending if you're a service industry, producing, small company, large company, the questions will differ because they're really focused on your area. It's a really good way to say, I should be doing this, that, and the other, to really form the foundations of great companies.
Thank you.
And I align with that. I think that it's very important that, like, again, being B Corp certified, going over the auditing sessions and the work and the research and the internal evaluation. I was talking about understanding the company better and see how this can be done. However, there are companies that do not make it or that don't have the time, means, or resources. However, they behave like a B Corp. So be a B Corp and be a part of the movement is also very important. Sometimes I get approached because of the certification by impact companies that might not have the certification but want to have an impact within their area of work and within their area of expertise. And it's always great to sort of find out that there is a lot of initiatives, a lot of companies, and a lot of B people that are starting. I guess we are over 1,000, but we have been growing for many years. I think B Corp we have been growing for a long time now, and the fact that there is this urgency and this goal for the future generations to take care of how they do business and how they behave, and the current companies to also understand that there's a need to do so. And as long as we have that clear, that will aim towards a better society and a more impactful society. And that is what B Corp stands for, and that is a way of certifying and of becoming that and for understanding why we do this. But I think there is a social trend towards that will little by little, we would like to continue that and education and educating the future leaders of tomorrow on these values. So as long as that is clear and we also learn from our students, many things that I think it's beautiful to have that within our community and within our network, that our students teach us how they see the world and how they see the world of tomorrow and how they want to have this positive impact, which was not common 15, 20 years ago, and now it's more and more an important trend to continue working, and that is what makes this worthwhile.
I'm afraid it's almost the time. So is there anything else any of you want to add? Is there any question I didn't ask that would be very relevant to talk about today?
To me, just one point is that I'm seeing droves of people leaving unfulfilling, unpurposeful companies. And the most successful and exciting companies are companies that are behaving like B Corps. Companies that have purpose, they have a role in society, that they fulfill that role, and they love doing it. There's an energy there which is contagious, and in all the lack of hope in the future, these are the companies that bring hope. So congratulations to SEC and to all these B Corps for being the companies that bring hope to society.
Thank you, Daniel. We hope to continue bringing this hope and creating this sort of world of tomorrow and shaping how we want the world to be. Again, our goal is to not teach the best students in the world, but the best students for the world. And as long as we have that clear, we have that vision, I think companies have that clear too. We will continue growing and we'll continue having again, hope is the right word, to have hope and to create hope and to make the world a better place little by little. I mean, as long as we all have a positive impact and we all have that clear within our mindset, then we will continue towards a positive trend.
Thank you, Alejandro and Daniel. If I may, I would add, the best students for the world and the best staff and the best teachers, no? I mean, the best community, all people all around the institution. So, all right. Once again, thank you very much, both of you, for finding the time to join us today. It's been short, but intense, I think. I'm sure our viewers will find this valuable. Thank you, everyone attending this session or watching us online. We are really looking forward to meeting you all at the Global Education Forum. Please stay tuned. Follow us on the social media and the website to be part of it. I remind you the website is globaleducationforumalltogether.org, globaleducationforum.org. Don't forget to register to be part of the open conversation and networking. So thank you, everybody, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.